Trump just crippled American business aviation with one social media post. In a single late-night post on Truth Social, Donald Trump ignited chaos across the global aviation industry. His threat, a 50% tariff on all Canadian-built aircraft sold in the United States and the decertification of every plane manufactured in Canada, including Bombardier's flagship business jets. There was no warning, no negotiation, just a declaration. Trump's move came after Transport Canada refused to rush safety certification for Gulfstream's newest business jets, the G700 and G800, which have not completed required fuel icing system tests. Rather than allowing regulators to finish safety evaluations, Trump chose escalation, weaponizing aviation certification as leverage in a trade dispute. The market reaction was immediate. Bombardier's stock fell nearly 9% within hours. American Airlines and Delta faced urgent questions about the future of their Canadian-built regional fleets. Private jet owners panicked, unsure whether their multi-million-dollar aircraft would be grounded overnight. Aviation lawyers were flooded with calls from clients asking the same question: is my jet about to become worthless? What Trump appears not to understand is that this threat hits the United States harder than Canada. More than half of Bombardier's 5,200 aircraft worldwide operate in the U.S. 64% of Bombardier's sales come from American customers. The company relies on 2,800 U.S. suppliers across 47 states, providing the majority of components used in every Bombardier jet. By threatening Bombardier, Trump didn't pressure Canada. He told American business jet buyers they can't trust U.S. certification stability, told American suppliers their largest customer may lose market access, and handed European and Asian aircraft manufacturers a golden opportunity to capture wealthy American buyers fleeing regulatory chaos. For decades, global aviation has relied on mutual recognition. The FAA certifies American aircraft. Transport Canada certifies Canadian aircraft. European authorities certify Airbus and other EU manufacturers. Each regulator validates the other's safety findings. The system works because safety, not politics, comes first. Trump shattered that principle. By using safety certification as a bargaining chip, he introduced a dangerous precedent. If the United States can decertify aircraft for economic or political reasons, every country can now do the same. Global aviation safety depends on trust. Trump replaced that trust with fear. Ironically, this move hands Bombardier a powerful competitive advantage. In December 2025, Bombardier's Global 8000, the fastest civilian aircraft since Concorde, received full FAA certification. Transport Canada certified it a month earlier. No exemptions, no political pressure, no shortcuts. Gulfstream's competing aircraft, meanwhile, still rely on temporary FAA exemptions and cannot operate in Canada until fuel icing tests are completed. Bombardier can now tell buyers, "We finish safety testing before certification. We don't ask politicians to bully regulators. Our aircraft meet every requirement everywhere." Gulfstream, by contrast, now looks like a manufacturer that needs presidential threats to compensate for unfinished safety work. For buyers spending $20 to $90 million on an aircraft, that distinction matters. Safety credibility is everything, and Trump just handed it to Bombardier. The practical consequences of Trump's threat are staggering. There are 5,425 Canadian-built aircraft currently registered and operating in the United States, including Bombardier business jets, CRJ regional jets flown by American Airlines and Delta, de Havilland turboprops, and Airbus A220 commercial aircraft.
Decertifying them would mean grounding planes mid-operation, canceling thousands of flights, stranding passengers nationwide, and wiping out air service to dozens of smaller U.S. cities that depend on regional jets. Delta declined to comment, not out of confidence, but because operations teams were scrambling. The private jet market faces even greater risk. 150 Bombardier Global Express jets are registered in the U.S., owned by corporations, charter firms, and individuals. Each is worth $40 to $75 million. If decertified, these aircraft cannot fly, be sold, or be used as loan collateral. Up to $15 billion in value erased instantly. Legally, the FAA can only decertify aircraft for safety reasons, not trade disputes. But Trump has repeatedly pressured agencies into economically motivated actions before. The uncertainty alone is devastating. Markets hate unpredictability, and Trump injected it directly into aviation. American suppliers would feel the damage first. Bombardier sources more than half the cost of its aircraft from U.S. manufacturing, supporting tens of thousands of jobs across Kansas, Texas, Florida, Arizona, North Carolina, Indiana, Oklahoma, and beyond. Bombardier operates 9 U.S. facilities and employs 3,000 Americans directly. All of it is now hostage to a demand that Canada compromise on safety standards. Canada will not. Transport Canada has a legal obligation to ensure aircraft operating in Canadian airspace meet safety requirements. Granting exemptions under political pressure would permanently undermine its regulatory credibility and expose officials to liability if an incident occurred. Canadian regulators are not negotiating aviation safety on social media. If Gulfstream completes the required testing, certification will follow. Until then, no shortcuts. That leaves Trump trapped. If he follows through, he devastates American aviation and aerospace jobs. If he backs down, his threats lose credibility. Any partial measure still destabilizes markets. Aviation experts worldwide reacted with alarm. As aerospace consultant Richard Abalafia put it, mixing safety issues with politics is an incredibly bad idea. That's diplomatic language for, this endangers the entire global aviation system. If the U.S. weaponizes certification, other countries will respond in kind. China could decertify Boeing over geopolitical disputes. Europe could retaliate over trade conflicts. Brazil could reject U.S. business jets. America exports far more aircraft than it imports. This strategy hurts U.S. manufacturers the most. Trump believed he was helping an American company. Instead, he undermined U.S. aviation leadership, strengthened Bombardier's reputation, destabilized American supply chains, and handed competitors an opening they didn't have to pay for. One post, massive fallout. Not leverage, self-sabotage. A single post on social media from Donald Trump sent shockwaves through the global aviation industry. In a move that stunned regulators, airlines, and investors alike, Trump threatened 50% tariffs and the decertification of all Canadian-built aircraft operating in the United States, including Bombardier business jets and regional aircraft flown by major U.S. airlines. The reason? Canada refused to rush safety certification for Gulfstream's newest business jets, which have not yet completed required fuel icing system tests. Instead of allowing regulators to finish safety evaluations, Trump chose to weaponize aviation certification for political and trade leverage. The fallout was immediate. Bombardier's stock dropped. Private jet owners panicked. Airlines faced fleet uncertainty, and U.S. aerospace suppliers across 47 states were suddenly at risk. More than 5,400 Canadian-built aircraft operate in the United States, supporting thousands of American jobs and billions in economic activity. This video breaks down how Trump's threat backfires on American business aviation, why Bombardier unexpectedly benefits, how Gulfstream's safety exemptions became a liability, and why aviation experts worldwide are warning that politicizing safety certification could destabilize the entire global aviation system. If safety rules become negotiable, no aircraft manufacturer is safe, and the United States may have the most to lose. Going forward, we'll keep you updated on how these developments unfold and the ripple effects across the industry. Don't forget to like and subscribe for in-depth analysis on the stories shaping global politics, business, and power. A single post on social media was enough to throw the American aviation industry into turmoil. Donald Trump's sudden threat to impose 50% tariffs on Canadian-built aircraft and to decertify every Canadian-manufactured plane operating in the United States triggered panic across airlines, private jet owners, investors, and aerospace suppliers. The trigger for this escalation was Canada's refusal to fast-track safety certification for Gulfstream's newest business jets, the G700 and G800. Transport Canada declined to grant exemptions for unfinished fuel icing system tests, a core safety requirement designed to prevent engine failure at altitude. Rather than allowing the testing process to continue, Trump responded with threats that could ground thousands of aircraft overnight. The consequences were immediate and severe. Bombardier's stock dropped sharply. Private jet lawyers reported frantic calls from private jet owners worried their multi-million-dollar aircraft could suddenly be grounded. Airlines faced uncertainty over fleets that serve dozens of smaller American cities, while aerospace suppliers across 47 states confronted the possibility of losing their largest customer. This story goes far beyond a trade dispute. For decades, global aviation safety has depended on mutual recognition between regulators, the FAA, Transport Canada, and European authorities, who validate each other's safety certifications based on engineering analysis, not political pressure. Trump's threat breaks that system by turning safety certification into a political weapon. Ironically, the move may strengthen Bombardier rather than weaken it. While Gulfstream's aircraft still rely on temporary regulatory exemptions, Bombardier's Global 8000 received full certification in the United States, Canada, and Europe without shortcuts. In an industry where buyers spend tens of millions of dollars and place safety above all else, that distinction matters. This video explains how Trump's threat risks grounding more than 5,400 aircraft operating in the U.S., destabilizing airline schedules, wiping out billions in private jet value, and putting thousands of American aerospace jobs at risk, all to pressure a foreign regulator to compromise on safety standards. We also examine why Canada is unlikely to back down, how this move weakens U.S. aviation credibility worldwide, and why experts warn that politicizing aircraft certification could invite retaliation against American manufacturers abroad. What was meant to be leverage may turn into self-inflicted damage, undermining American aviation leadership while strengthening Bombardier's reputation, destabilizing American supply chains, and handing competitors an opening they didn't have to pay for. Watch as we break down the full impact, the unintended winners, and why this single post could reshape the future of global aviation safety.